close in on Don Shula's record for career wins. Do you have that at all as a goal in your mind to reach that?
I haven't really thought about it.
You're aware of it, though. I mean, it's
Aware of it, yeah.
as a football historian, would that matter to you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I have great respect for the game and all that. I'm not really focused on that right now. 2023 season's what I'm concerned about.
Bill, what'd you like about Juju Smith-Schuster?
Yeah, it's a good player, good guy. Look forward to having him.
You made some comments about him in the past. Do you think you're getting the same guy that you saw in Pittsburgh a few years ago?
I think we're getting a good player. Yeah.
Is there a specific thing about his game that you like?
I've never worked with him before, so get to know him, look forward to it.
Well, what went into the decision to bring back Bill O'Brien?
Thought it was the best thing for the team.
Why was it the best thing for the team?
It's a number of reasons.
Can you name one?
I have a good relationship with Bill. We go back a ways, so.
Sorry, just to follow on that, will there be many alterations, or are you still in a planning stage as to what you plan to do offensively? Will it be tailored more to...
Will Matt Patricia be working for the Patriots this year?
Not sure.
And how would you describe Joe Judge's role on the staff?
We'll talk about staff later on in the spring.
Expect Rod Mayo to have an additional title to an addition to linebackers coach like this assistant coach?
I don't know.
Gesicki's a guy that you had planned for a lot in the past. What kind of stood out to him to make you want to bring him in?
Yeah, tough guy to game plan for, hard to cover. Again, look forward to working with Mike. So, see how it goes. He's kind of a unique player, so hopefully we'll be able to use him productively.
Last week, the Hall of Fame gave Dante Scarnecchia a kind of a Lifetime Achievement Award. Just wondering if you could kind of sum up Dante.
Well deserved. Yeah, Dante's a great football coach. Obviously a long history of the Patriots, multiple roles. But when I was here in '96 with Bill, it was Dante, Romeo, Al, and I on the defensive staff, and that was three great people to work with. And of course with Bill, so got to know him pretty well then, and then of course when I came back, he was coaching the offensive line, so I kept the offensive line coach. And, made a huge impact on our team and me, and just a wonderful guy to work with on all levels. Hardworking, dedicated, unselfish, good fundamental coach, understands offense, defense, kicking game. Very good teacher, detailed, tireless worker. Well,
Bill, with the additions at offensive tackle, Smith-Schuster, Gesicki, do you think you've done enough to improve the offense for this season?
well, we'll see.
As for the addition of the coaches too, could that be is that where you guys are counting on for improvement on the offense?
We don't have a game for a while, so we'll see what happens between now and then.
Speaking of those offensive tackles, what do you like about Riley Reif's game? Riley Reif.
Yeah, been in the league for a long time, very experienced guy, played multiple positions. Smart, tough guy. Glad we have him.
Is he someone that you might try on both sides, or will he just stay on the right side?
Yeah, we'll see. He's played both. He's also played guard. So.
Along those lines, Bill, same position with Trent. Trent was pretty locked in on the left side last year, but obviously we've seen him play both. Do you think this year you'd be more apt to take a look at him on the right side?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Bill, at the press conference you did the day after the season ended, you mentioned that over the past 3 years, you guys are among the lowest spending teams in the NFL. I was wondering, was that a lament, or was that a, hey, we've been fiscally responsible? I think there's been a lot of conjecture as to what the point of that was. I know it's just a fact, but what was the relevance of that?
Well, I think we've been pretty competitive every year that I've been here with the Patriots. That's our overall plan, and so I expect it to continue that way.
And to do that,
I think the teams have managed pretty well over the last 20, however many years. So I think we'll continue managing it in a way we've been competitive every year, and expect that we'll continue to be competitive.
so the notion of spending and, okay, where the Patriots fit in the grand scale of how much this year, how much that year, and the average. I think people fixate.
My comment was a correction. So I was asked a question about high cash spending and how high it was, and some other things went along with it. And the fact is, that's just inaccurate. I mean, in a Polaroid shot, yes, but anybody that knows anything about the cap understands that it's spread out over a period of time. So you have high cash spending, then you have low cash spending. You can look at every team in the league, and there's no difference between our team and any other team. If it's high, it's going to be low. If it's low, then eventually it's going to be high.
I'm sorry I didn't catch the context on that previously. I didn't know that was what led into the comment from you.
You interviewed Adrian Clem for the OC job before reportedly hiring him as the offensive line coach. What impressed you about Adrian, and what went into the reason to ultimately hiring him in the O-line?
Yeah, I think he'll do a good job for us. So.
What do you remember about him? You first coached him.
Smart guy, played in June's offense. A really good understanding of, I'd say, some of the more complex things on the offensive line. I think he's performed well in his coaching positions at various spots.
Would it be fair to say that both Mac and Bailey Zappi will be competing for the starting job over the summer, or is it Mac's job?
Yeah, well, everybody get a chance to play. We'll play the best players.
So it's still kind of a competition.
Everybody will get a chance to play.
Is that specific to the quarterback, or do you view every position like
Every position. Everybody will get a chance to play. Everybody that's on our roster, if they earn the opportunity to play, then based on what they do in practice and all that, then they'll get an opportunity to play. Certainly veteran players that have been on the team before, if they're still on the team, they'll all get an opportunity to play.
What specifically would you like Mac to improve on from last year?
Yeah, we talked to all the players individually about things that they can do and things that we can do and so forth. So just keep that between myself and the individual players.
How much do you believe a coach like Bill O'Brien will help the quarterback position?
Yeah, Bill's a good coach. I think he'll help any position.
At the end of the season, Bill, when you mentioned Mac, you said he can play in this league. And to me, it stuck out from the end of July when you said he's made such drastic improvements. We expect, after a very good rookie year, a big jump. It seemed like a come down for him. Were you disappointed in his 2022 output? The player that he emerged as?
Yeah. Well, as a team, we didn't perform very well last year, so I think we all need to do a better job. That's all of us.
Bill, do you envision a scenario where the Patriots would pursue Lamar Jackson, who's been assigned the franchise tag, but the non-exclusive tag by the Ravens?
And Mike, I'm not going to talk about players on any other team.
It's a free agent, so I didn't know if that was...
Bill, were you happy with Mac Jones, some of his, we saw some of the stuff on the field where, he was acting out a little bit. Did you have a problem with anything with Mac Jones' leadership or how he conducted himself relative to the position?
Yeah. We're looking ahead to 2023 here. I might go back and rehash 22. done with that.
You don't think it's relative to this season? And do you think you needed to make some corrections to improve in that area going into this year?
I think we all can improve. All of us. Start with me and every other player and coach that's here. So it's for all of us.
In regards to the receiver position, are you happy with the group of players you have now, or is that a position you could see adding?
Yeah, I don't know. But if we can improve our team, we'll try to improve our team.
Bill, Devin McCourty seemed like such a key player for the way you guys played on defense. What player do you see has a similar skill set to possibly fill that role that he played?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to replace Devin McCourty with one player. So.
What do you think of the way the draft is laid out? I mean, we speculate on what positions of need you guys have. You probably have your own litany of positions, but being where you are in the draft and the group that you've seen so far, what are your thoughts on this group?
Working through it. Just finished with free agency. Seen a lot of players in the draft, but we're certainly not there yet. A month away. Matt and his staff have done a great job.
Is that Shrine opportunity helpful, just in terms of getting your eyes on what that group of players was doing?
Sure.
Yeah, Coach. What does Jonnu Smith bring to the Falcons in that trade? And he comes over to the NFC. We haven't seen him much since the early Tennessee days.
Right. Well, Arthur had him at Tennessee, so I think he knows the player very well.
What was his tenure like with you? I just got the numbers. I'm trying to get some commentary.
Great. Yeah,
on
John
that.
is a great kid. Love working with him.
Bill, Jack Jones at corner seemed to have an up and down rookie year. What would you like to see from him in year two?
Yeah. Again, we've talked to all the players about things they need to work on and improve on and so forth. I'll just keep that between myself and the players.
How much did that late season suspension for him just sort of affect the team's, ability to count on him going forward?
That's over. Yeah, good.
Bill, do you see Marcus Jones primarily a defensive player with offensive ability, or could he contribute more on offense?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Certainly showed a lot of ability on all three phases of the game, so we'll see.
Still hold out hope in the same vein with Ty Montgomery. Coming back, he's under contract for another year unless I'm...
Yeah, well, Ty didn't play any defense last year, but offensively in the kicking game, running back, receiver, yeah, versatile player. Yeah, look forward to having him healthy.
Talk about the pin, Bill. What that you're wearing, and what makes you wear it here?
Yeah, it's Mr. Kraft's initiative.
What are your thoughts on it?
Supportive.
Bill, obviously, Devin had a lot of responsibilities pre-snap in the defense. When it comes to replacing that aspect, is that something you could have multiple safeties do in your team, or ideally would you like to have the one guy controlling sort of the calls pre-snap like Devin did, over the last decade?
Yeah, well, there's always an element of more than one person. You have two sides of the defense. There has to be some kind of communication on each side. It's hard for one person to do everything, but somebody's got to take control. So we'll work through that.
Is that something you think like Adrian or Jabril or like Kyle could do?
Well, you have to have more than one player ready to do it in case something happens to the person who's doing it. So we'll see how it goes. Good, Joe.
Good. Hey, there's been a lot of conversation about the hip drop tackle. Now, it's not a rule proposal now, but a lot of conversation, concerns about injury risk with that. Have you seen that escalate, that technique? And
I wasn't really a part of those conversations yesterday, so I'll have to catch up on that.
But just in general, in watching from week to week, have you noticed more of that technique in just the flow of the game?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till I look at it a little more closely to comment on it. Thank you.
Do you have any view on flexing Thursday night games?
It doesn't really matter what I think.
Yes, it does.
What are David Harris's strengths as a player? What are the Bills getting in him?
Damien's a tough player, very strong, downhill runner, contact player.
What do you like about James Montgomery? James Robinson. I'm sorry.
A productive player. Jacksonville and the Jets. Give us some depth in the backfield, see how it goes. Haven't ever worked with him before, so look forward to it.
Bill, what was the main reason that you kind of, not one for one, but switched Jacoby and Juju? Smith-Schuster, Jacoby going up, the Raiders obviously, and Juju in.
Free agency is a process. It wasn't a trade.
I understand. It's like, it almost seems like one for one, and there's obviously different strengths. What are some of the strengths that you see?
It wasn't a trade, so it wasn't planned that way, it worked out that way. I get the question. It wasn't a trade.
What do you lose with Jacoby leaving, I guess? Lose is a relative term.
Yeah.
So, we talked to you after the year. You said, if I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the season wasn't up to the level, I think, in so many words. As we sit here now, how do you feel you've closed the gap to get where you want to go?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
How much pressure do you put on yourself when you have a year that maybe you're not happy with? Change anything about your approach?
Start of the year is the same every year. It doesn't really matter what happened last year. The start of the year is the start of the year. So I did the best job I can this year, just like I did last year and the year before that, and the year before that, and the 20 years before that, and the 20-some years before that. So I'll do the best I can. Sure, not everybody will be happy with it. I'll do the best I can.
Go ahead.
No, you.
I asked you at the start about the Shula record. Can you reflect back at all to, you're going to say I don't want to go back, we're talking about this year, but can you reflect it all back to like January of 2000 and think that, as you come in here at I think maybe 48 years old, 47 years old, think 23 years later I'm going to be on the cusp of doing something. That's not what you came here to do. It's pretty remarkable to be within hailing distance of that.
All right. I appreciate the question, but there'll be a time to reflect back. Right now is not the time. Looking ahead.
What do you think? When will we do that? Will we have a nice reflection press conference someday?
Hopefully.
Bill, you've talked about coaching LT, Brady, and Slater in terms of maybe the greatest that have done it on their respective sides. Of
Right.
Like, what's the common thread when they stepped on the field that you saw that put them in that category?
Yeah. You can write a book on each one of those guys, so I'll just leave my comment as it is. Feel fortunate to coach the three greatest players at their position. My opinion.
Bill, do you have any interest in Odell Beckham Jr.?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about any players that are not on this team. Period.
Free agent or not, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Bill, going back to your comment about the cash spending, you said you were 27th before, you're I think about 28th now. Is what you guys spend, do you determine that or the crowd?
I never said that. What did I say about now? I never said that.
No. Previously, during the season, at the end of the season, you said lowest.
That was about the previous 3 years at that point in time. I don't even know where we are now. Okay, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
We'll spend to the cap. We'll have a competitive team. That's really, and anybody who knows anything about the cap, which I'm sure you've studied it, knows that over a period of time, it evens out. So it That's all I got to say about it.
Would you like the ability to spend more? Do you have that ability from ownership to spend more if you want to?
I said all I'm going to say about it. Like, we spend to the cap every year.
Bill, on Cam Acord, what makes him the right coach to lead the special teams? And I ask only because I think last year's special teams probably weren't to the standard we've seen from the past from the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, last year was last year. A lot of things that weren't good enough. But
What about Cam? Do you like
coach? Yeah. Led the league in special teams in 19 or 20, whatever year it was. So 20. Yeah, I don't think that's a problem.
You guys came to agreement with Jonathan Jones pretty quickly in the free agency. How important was it to keep him in that system?
Yeah, that was a big one. Right, we didn't, especially with Devin. You know, he gives us a lot of leadership and presence back there. He's been a great player for us for a long time in a lot of different roles, including the kicking game, which is where he started. Yeah, he's epitomizes what we want, a Patriot player. It's great to have him.
Bill, how much are you looking forward to working with Chris Bourne and what will he bring to the team?
Yeah, look forward to working with all the players that we've added to the team and the guys that we have on the team that are coming back. So look forward to all of it.
This wasn't that bad.
Bill, has there been any discussions with, say, Gerard Mayo or Bill O'Brien about possible succession plans to you? Anything about the future and planning for the future of the Patriots when you're not coach?
Yeah, I'm planning on coaching this year. I'm trying to do a good job this year. That's my plans.
And then Greg ruined it.
That's what I'm here for. Bill, Jake Bailey made some comments to Miami reporters about he thought that your having to do squats affected him and his availability last year. Did you agree with those comments?
Yeah. Jake's comments are Jake's comments.
What are you planning for the summer? Any trips? Croatia?
Just working on April for right now, 1 month at a time.
Talking to Devin, he said that really everything starts in April. Just build team building, the discipline, the situational awareness.
Well, it starts long before that as a coaching staff, but yeah, players start coming in April.
Bill, before you fly, you've talked in the past about how media is a conduit to the fans, between the team and the fans. Would you say anything to the fans right now as to where the team sits and what you're trying to put together? What would you say to them right now if they were listening to this?
Long way to go. It's March. We play in September. A long way to go. A lot of work to do.
And what would you say to them to give them a reason to be optimistic for what's ahead for the Patriots?
The last 25 years.
Taking it month to month in the off season. I feel like in the season you take it day to day. Is that how you divvy up your off season month to month rather than day to day or week to week?
My off season?
This off season, your off season.
No, there's a lot of stages to the off season, so there's free agency, there's draft, there's staff changes, there's new opponents. I mean, so it's a little bit different.
Do you feel good about the groundwork you've laid thus far?
I think we've taken steps to improve the team. We'll see how it goes.
You don't really have a spot anywhere on the roster to the untrained eye, where you say, okay, they just don't have somebody at that spot who can go on the field if there were a game Sunday, which there is not. Do you feel good about where the roster is at this juncture without, you got a competitive group already?
Again, it's March. Snap the ball. It's March.
Bill, what do you think about Vic Fangio being with the Dolphins, and just some of your thoughts about going against him over the years?
Yeah, good coach. Be a lot different than what we saw from them last year.
Any thoughts on Aaron Rodgers potentially joining the Jets?
Still not commenting on players that aren't with our team. I'm going to try to be consistent on that, yeah.
That'll be double jeopardy, another team and a guy playing for another team.
I'll try to stick to the Patriots for right now.
When it comes to filling out the rest of the roster, the bulk of it will be through the draft, undrafted free agency.
I don't know. You know, there's a lot of ways that you can acquire players. I wouldn't rule out any of them or rule in any of them. If we do something we think can help the team, then we'll do it, given the context of whatever it is. But, yeah, we're not afraid to do whatever we need to do that will help the team, whatever that is. I don't know.
Bill, it seems like Mike Gesicki has a lot of versatility. What do you like about him in this offense?
Yeah, I think that's true. We'll see. I've never worked with Mike before, so look forward to working with him, and we'll see how it all fits together.
Any pro days? Do you think you'll go to any pro days, scouting wise?
Probably.
Phil, you reportedly brought in Will Line to coach tight ends. If that's true, what do you know about Will, and what can you tell us?
Yeah, we'll make our comments on the staff a little bit later on here in the spring to get everything settled.
Bill, do you think the evolving skill sets of quarterbacks at the college level is going to make offenses like, the Eagles, the Bears last year, kind of the prevalence of more dual threat running quarterbacks? Is that something that's here to stay? Or do you think that the NFL will remain always looking for the pocket passer, quarterback, the balanced offense?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're looking for a quarterback that'll help your team win games, whatever that is.
Bill, the number of special teams.
So we're done, right?
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.